Tuesday, everybody. We are back with some interesting information to share with you today. But before we get started, we'll just quickly introduce ourselves for those of you who are new to our communities and not familiar with who we are. My name is Jessica Melnick. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, the founder of the Anti-Arthritis Method, the host of the Happy Joints Arthritis Solutions Group, and I help both women and men with various forms of arthritis get back to living life the way they choose to, not the way they have to. And Casey, I'll turn it over to you.
And I am Casey Kephardt. I'm the founder of the Feel Good Formula. I am a functional medicine nutritionist who works with women with all different types of autoimmune diseases to get your life back, get you back to the activities you love to do, and trash those symptoms. And I reside in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Amazing. And is the sun shining today?
Indeed it is.
Beautiful.
Every day. It should be raining tonight, though. I think we do need some rain.
Gotcha. It is hazy here. We have smoke that has been coming down from the northern forest fires. So it's been weird though. Some days it smells smoky and then some days it looks smoky, but it doesn't smell smoky. So it's been very odd. We did get some rain yesterday and last night. So I think we're supposed to get more tomorrow, possibly. So I'm hoping that it's going to rain wherever these fires are so that we can get rid of this awful smoke.
Yeah.
Because, it's been going on for a good, I'd say, week now. So, it's just weird. It's just strange because it's supposed to be like a sunny day. And then you look outside and it's completely hazy and it looks almost kind of like early in the evening. Sometimes it almost looks like nighttime, but it's not, because the sun is just like blocked by all the smoke. So I'm really hoping that we get some rain in those areas because it's no good.
It sounds like you need some extra detox.
Right? You don't really want to go for a walk on the days where it's really smoky. It's like being in a giant campfire, except you can't get away. You're just always in the cloud. So it's not good for anybody. So hopefully that can resolve itself sooner than later, because the firefighters can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
But not too much you can do. It happens here every summer. So just gotta deal with it, I guess. So with that being said, we are talking about food sensitivities today because there is a big difference actually between food allergies and food sensitivities. So we're going to talk about that so we can clear up any myths that you might have or have heard about food sensitivities and what they are. And we're going to talk about how they affect our bodies and how that can interact with having arthritis or an autoimmune condition. So start off, let's talk about the difference between a food sensitivity and a food allergy. So a food sensitivity is actually the body's negative reaction to food that is the result of chronic inflammation over time, leading to a leaky gut and an overactive immune system. So for example, a food allergy is considered an IgE reaction, and a food sensitivity is an IgG reaction. So scientifically, they also look different. So the difference between a food sensitivity and a food allergy is that a food allergy results in a severe immediate reaction. So for example, anaphylaxis. So, for those of you who maybe have like a life-threatening peanut allergy or something like that, you're going to experience your throat closing and airways being obstructed. So very scary. But a food sensitivity actually results in a much less severe reaction after approximately, it can be fairly soon. I would say, 4 hours, maybe sooner, and up to 72 hours later. So that's why when we work with our clients and we're working through some of these sensitivities, we recommend, only reintroducing a food once every 3 to 5 days and waiting to see how your body responds. And it's not just indigestion. I hear that all the time. People think that a food sensitivity, I didn't have indigestion after I ate this food, so it must not be a sensitivity. Not necessarily true. It can manifest itself in a whole bunch of different symptoms, which we're going to talk about right away, so that you can know what to look for in a food sensitivity that's maybe not exactly what you thought it would be. So why is this actually important to address food sensitivities? Great question, because If we keep consuming foods that we are sensitive to, we're just adding fuel to our inflammation fire. So we're increasing our inflammation and we are continuing to allow our immune system to be overactive and confused, which also means more autoimmune symptoms if that's something that we are already experiencing.
Mhm.
So we don't want to add fuel to this fire. So, Casey, do you want to talk about what food sensitivities look like and how they can actually manifest in our bodies?
Yeah, I want to explain something real quick before we go into that. Jessica mentioned IgE, IgG, and then there's also IgA as well. These are antibodies in our bodies. So antibodies is like our fighters. You know, when you get sick, you hear about antibodies. That's kind of what we're talking about here. And when you have a food sensitivity, it's because one of our antibodies tagged that food molecule, and now our immune system recognizes that as something that it doesn't like. It's like a foreign invader per se, and your immune system is going to fight it. So now there's a war going on in your body, and that's why you feel the symptoms you do that we'll get right into. So when your body tags these food particles, when your antibodies tag a food particle, accidentally, like kale, we should not be having a food sensitivity towards. Really, any foods we should not be having sensitivities to. It's because our body is inflamed. It's because our body isn't working 100% like it is, and our body is tired and it's inflamed and it's making mistakes. So we need to heal the gut. We need to get that inflammation fire out so we can stop having these food sensitivities, and we can stop developing more and more food sensitivities. Because Jessica and I have worked with clients where literally a person is a sensitive to everything they eat. And they're like, I am just having trouble just eating a salad or eating some walnuts or whatever it is. So it's very difficult to eat when your body just is inflamed for so long. And if that is you, please DM us and we can help guide you and educate and hopefully support you. Okay. So, how do food sensitivities manifest in the body? Basically, what are you going to feel if you eat a food that you are sensitive to? And this is going to be different for literally every single person. There's some more common symptoms than not, but my symptoms are GI distress. I get irritable, and my fatigue hits me like a Mack truck. But Jessica's, maybe she breaks out in acne and she has some brain fog. So listen to your mental cues. We'll go through a little list here, but it is not everything, every symptom that you could have. So a food sensitivity in your body could look like flare up of joint pain, fatigue, or just a flare up of your autoimmune disease in general. Itchy eyes or a runny nose. I know I get that when I eat chocolate, and I know I'm super sensitive to that.
Girl.
What?
Poor girl.
I know. Skin irritations such as rashes, hives, eczema, psoriasis, acne, and these things just don't happen overnight. The eczema doesn't just come up overnight. These are things that we're constantly eating and constantly putting in our body, and this is developing over a chronic period of time. Digestive disturbances like bowel irregularity, upset, there's IBS, there's just diarrhea, there's constipation, all of these things. And that can happen very soon. With some things I eat and it's not right, it's like I'm going to the bathroom right away. And I know my body just wants to get that the heck out of me. And that's a food sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Mood changes, so you are irritable or you are very short fused, you're annoyed more easily. Usually you don't get very happy when you have a food sensitivity, so it's more of the negative ones. You can even have more anxiety, you can have more depression or put you in depression and have anxiety. It's because of that gut brain axis we have. They talk to each other through that vagus nerve that we talked about last week. Fatigue, like I said, it can hit you like a Mack truck, either right away, 4 hours, or 5 days later. Brain fog. Again, the channels from gut to brain are not working properly, so we're having a lot of time, a hard time thinking clearly or finishing our thought track, or even being productive. And then headaches could be another food sensitivity. A lot of people who have a gluten sensitivity, maybe not celiac, but you are sensitive to celiacs could have it too. But if you're sensitive to gluten, one of the first things people usually get is a headache. And that can be with any food sensitivity, though. So that's just a short list, but that's not to say that you could, I don't know, have tinnitus, ringing in the ears every time that you eat spinach or something you're sensitive to. So this is all to remind you to be very, very mindful of your body and how it is feeling every hour of the day. I've come to, like, I can eat a bite of something and then an hour later feel a little slightly different, and I can pin it back to that. But that's come from like 10 years of being mindful of my body and checking in with myself and knowing my signals. And if you get to that point, you can have your diet honed down to a point where you don't get these symptoms anymore, to where you need to up your probiotics or your supplements to heal your gut a little bit more. But that's what Jessica and I teach in our programs. That's what we help support you and guide you in. So please reach out if you need help with this.
Absolutely. So again, it's not just digestive disturbances. It can be so many other things that pop up in the body in terms of how we feel physically and mentally. And I think that, I just wanted to add to that too. I find in my program, a lot of my clients that, they'll say, oh my goodness, I never thought to pay attention to like my skin or my scalp or my mood or all these other things besides the digestive part. And I think a lot of them had said to me too about just being in the program has made them be so much more attention and be so much more aware about and connected to what's actually going on in their body. Because I think what happens for a lot of us is we're just so busy surviving and rushing from one activity to the next and just going about our busy lives, that we're not really paying attention to how we feel physically and mentally until it's like our body is actually screaming at us, or we're in a terrible mood and we're like, whew, okay, something's going on. Yeah. But I think we're so used to not paying attention that taking that time to really like lean into our body and really pay attention to how we are feeling physically and mentally, can make such a difference and can teach us so much. So how the heck do we figure out what we're actually sensitive to, and why is this important to find out? So a food log is a tool that we can use. I know it's something that I use in my program, but it is in conjunction with a very specific reintroduction elimination process. So a food log, you can take a food log and pay attention to what you're eating and see how, like, pinpoint like how you feel afterwards. It's really, though, important to start off with having a minimum period of food eliminations before you start reintroducing things and bringing things back in. That's going to give you the clearest idea of what you're actually sensitive to. You actually have to eliminate those foods for a period of time before you can get a really clear understanding and a clear read on how your body is actually responding to those foods. So like I said, Casey was saying, this is something we both address in our programs. It has to be done in a very specific and systematic way in order to be accurate and to get the results that you want. And so we help you through that. So another thing is food sensitivity testing. And I feel like food sensitivity testing can be a little controversial. In my opinion, from what I know about food sensitivity tests, I think that still doing the elimination phase with the reintroduction is way more accurate than food sensitivity tests. I know I have done some and I've got some really unusual results where I've been told I'm not sensitive to things where I'm clearly very sensitive to them. They can really vary in terms of quality and technique and how they work and all those things. So I still think the gold standard is doing the elimination phase and the reintroduction, but it can be a good tool as well as maybe a baseline of where to start. But maybe Casey, you wanted to add anything about food sensitivity testing. I know that you know probably more about that than I do.
I think it's just what you said. I think it's a good tool to know even more whether it's 100% accurate or 80% accurate. So a lot of people like to take, and I don't blame you, the short and the easy way out. This would be the short and the easy way out of some other data point to guide you. So let's say you're having a lot of hard times eating something, you don't really know what it is. It could be a spice, it could be a main dish, whatever. And you're still not figuring it out with that elimination diet, getting that food sensitivity test, and it will say, oh, maybe you are sensitive to capsaicin. Okay, well, this makes sense with the paprika I'm using, or these jalapenos that I'm having, or I don't know, whatever capsaicin is in. So something that we might not think about will show up on that food sensitivity test, and it might be right. It probably is right more times than not. So it's just something to dig a little deeper and to guess and check with. I wouldn't use it, as Jessica said, as like, there's a lot of stuff going on with my hair right now, but I wouldn't use it as like 100% tool and, you know, the Bible for you. But if you are interested in a food sensitivity test, I can surely order that for you. I think it's about $200, and it could either be an at-home test or it sends you a script to a local, I think it's LabCorp or Quest near you. So I don't know if I can do it if you're in Canada or another country, but if you're in the US, I can certainly help you out with that. So just direct message me or comment below and I can help you. Either way though, doing a food log or a food sensitivity test or both is a great tool to learn to be mindful of your body, to know what's going on, to get those data points, and to really be intimate into what is going on in your body. I know Jessica and I talk about this probably every single time, of being mindful of what the heck is going on in your body, just because that is how you're going to diagnose yourself. We can't diagnose you. We can tell you what's going on possibly, but you're going to be that person to figure it out and to get to that root cause with our guidance. You know your body better than anybody else does. And this is the journey of learning it and what questions to ask yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And we know that this is a lot. We know that figuring out your food sensitivities is a process. It can be time consuming. It can feel a little bit daunting. But I would say the good news is that it's not a forever process. You know, there is a way to do it where we can guide you through it, simplify it, save you some time. And once healing has taken place, your body becomes more resilient. You're going to have less food sensitivities. The healthier your body is, the healthier your gut is. And we can definitely walk you through that. There are ways you can do it on your own too. But like I said, we know that it can feel a little bit overwhelming and a little bit daunting because it's not a process that most of us just know off the top of our heads. So again, reach out to us if you have questions about this, if this is something that you would like some help with. Like I said, we deal with this every day with our clients
and ourselves.
Yeah, and ourselves. So we've got lots of experience with this, and you can get better. You really can. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, I promise you, and you can figure this out.
Yeah. I think we did forget to say that, or I did, is that food sensitivities don't last forever. Don't have to last forever. Some can if they're super chronic, but once you heal your gut and you get rid of that inflammation, you can start to eat these things again that you've had trouble eating before. So this is a temporary thing for the most part. I know there are some things that we can just never eat again. Our body just does not allow that, but for the most part, we can. Another thing I wanted to mention before I forget is somebody commented here, Joyce, I've had ringing in my ear really bad. I had no idea food could be a problem. So tinnitus is one of those things that are we can't really pinpoint why it happens in our bodies. Inflammation can be one of them. Inflammation and food go hand in hand. It could be a toxicity in the body, like mold. It could be, the I'm trying to choose my words wisely here. The shot that we were told to get in the past couple of years that could have triggered something too. So you really want to look back, and I've talked to doctors about this too, and they always say you want to look back to when the ringing started, whatever month that was, and then you want to go back even further and see if something has changed in that perspective. If you've moved homes, if you've had a big life event, if you've changed your diet, if you started getting sick more, or a very stressful event, something had to change in those couple of months or past year where it led up to your body having tinnitus. And I went to a conference once even, and they said something about some supplements can help it too. And I don't quote me, I wanted to say it was like some B vitamins, but I'm not really sure. Probably some more research needs to be done on that. But it's hard to say that there's a cure for this, but do your own diagnosing and start with those couple of things.
Yeah, it's there's always, I think, complex reasons behind some things, and sometimes it can take a little bit of digging.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody has any questions, please comment below. We are happy to support and guide you how we can. And Jessica will be back on Thursday with her recipes. And we will see y'all later.
Sounds great. Take care, everyone.